Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Let's have an interesting discussion today, and I mean this legitimately. For once, I think we've got two sides of a very interesting debate. And the people who've decided to participate in it have, I think, decided to participate in good faith. So I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to go through it in good faith because I believe that the people who have a different opinion to me on this are absolutely legitimate in their opinion as well, which is, how rare do we normally get these? Normally we just get mudslinging over fences. But this is in regards to the first image that's been revealed. And this is for the TV show Wednesday. Now, this isn't an Addams Family reboot. This is Wednesday. So it's going to be Wednesday is going to be the central character in this series. And I guess her family, Morticia, Gomez, and, Lurch and all that sort of jazz, Pugsley, they're going to be secondary elements to this. However, they're obviously in the show. And the first image that's been revealed of this is Morticia and Gomez. So when I saw this image, I will show you my initial reaction, which was just F right off in any direction. Now, why did I have such a visceral reaction to this picture? I've got nothing against Catherine Zeta-Jones. I've got nothing against Luis Guzman as actors. When I talk about these things, I'm talking about it from the perspective of the characters. Unless I mention their specific names and then I'm addressing them specifically. But to me, I was just like, Luis Guzman, that ain't, that ain't Gomez. No way. And the reason why I was so vehement about it is when I was a kid, used to watch, a lot of stuff on TV. A lot of stuff that I used to watch on the TV was in black and white. We weren't in the age of black and white. We're in the age of color. But they were still showing great black and white TV shows. They were showing bloody Harold Lloyd and stuff like that. These silent movie stars with their incredible shows, which were just, as a kid, were just like mind-blowing to watch. Buster Keaton, George Formby stuff, and all that kind of jazz. And then one of the things that I used to love watching was the Addams Family. Loved watching the Addams Family. We also got the Munsters, but the Munsters to me was always discount Addams Family. And this was why I love the Munsters. You have, what's he called? John Astin, isn't it? John Astin as Gomez here. And we had Morticia. I mean, they just look perfect together. Absolutely perfect together. And John Astin had such presence as Gomez. And I used to love watching this show. It gave me so much pleasure and joy as a kid. And then, just as I'm, getting into my teenage years, suddenly they decide to make Addams Family movies. And who do they cast as Gomez in the Addams Family movies? They cast the absolutely sensational Raul Julia. Oh man, I am mortified to this day that this guy passed away way too soon. Way too soon. And Raul Julia, Angelica Hudson or whatever, Angelica Hudson, just dominated the screen when they were on. Just such charisma. The love between them, the love between the characters has always been so great that, you think this would be such a dysfunctional, and it kind of is dysfunctional, family, but the love between Morticia and Gomez was just like, mwah! It's just absolutely phenomenal. And so I saw an extension, I saw a modernization of the incredible TV show. Now, this to me has always been the Addams Family. And I legitimately believe that this has been the Addams Family for the vast vast majority of people. However, unbeknownst to me, this isn't the, this isn't the source material for the Addams Family. This isn't the conceptive point for the Addams Family. It's this. These cartoons that were made. And if you look at Gomez in these cartoons, then Gomez is very much alike to here now. So this is technically being faithful to the source material. So let me just go into a couple of these comments which I talked about. So this one from Van Clarence. Van Clarence brings up an excellent point here. He says Gomez is actually pretty accurate to the original. I'm still not a fan of the look, though. So, he is saying, well, this is the source material. And, it does kind of marry with what they're doing here with Wednesday. So, do I really have the right to be, fuck off, fuck right off in any direction? Okay. And then Garrett Sanders here, they bring up a good point as well. They say, wait, so now this project is too faithful to the source material. Hasn't that been one of your main complaints about current adaptations of properties? Or does it only matter if you personally are familiar with the original source material? That's an excellent point. That is an excellent point. So this is how I see it, and I'll elaborate in a moment. This is how I see it. Now, this is Twitter, so you can only say so much. So I decided to make a video because I did want to say a few more things. If the source material is what popularized the characters, then that's what people want. I thoroughly believe the Addams Family's popularity was due to the TV series and then later the movies. I see this as another modern adaptation to belittle the main male character. So that's what I want to go into. I don't think, when we talk about Lord of the Rings and being faithful to Tolkien's lore, that's because the popularization of Lord of the Rings was through the books. It hasn't wavered from there. Now, if we take something that's a little bit more... Let's have a look at this, shall we? This is The Simpsons. This is the source material for The Simpsons. This is when they appeared on the Tracy Ullman show back in the mid-80s or so, about 87, I think this one is. Yeah, 87. But this isn't what popularized The Simpsons. They had funny little skits, and it got its own TV show because it had funny little skits. But that's not what popularized The Simpsons. It wasn't the Tracy Ullman show that did that. It was this version of The Simpsons. This is what popularized them. And they look distinctly different from this. Homer is completely different. Bart, again, different. Because it was adapted and it was tweaked. And that's what people grabbed onto. And I'm not trying to say that people didn't grab onto the Addams Family cartoons. I'm sure, actually, that the Addams Family cartoons got more popular due to things like this TV series and then the movies. So it's kind of like a reverse. Instead of the source material popularizing the franchise, whatever it may be, it's actually what's developed and become popularized from the source material. This actually allowed the source material to kind of flourish a bit more. It's actually shone more of a light. And so people are just like, oh yeah, now we can look at these kooky little cartoons that were actually created. Batman is another prime example of this. Batman, if we were to look at or say, hey, we've got to stay faithful to the source material of Batman. So we got to go all the way back to spring, May 1939, Detective Comics 27. And what do you see there? Well, you see a very different Batman. You see the superficial nature of it with the hood and the cowl and the belt and whatnot. But he's got a gun. He's got purple gloves. His ears are popping in different sort of directions. The kind of bat element of it isn't really manifest, shall we say. And so it was very soon after 1939 that there became tweaks to the bat suit. Then we got the yellow symbol, which stayed as a stalwart of the Batman outfit for a long time. Then we got the Addams, Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams, reinvention of Batman as a more serious detective and crime fighter. And then that led to the Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller, which really a lot of people still to this day focus on as something to really look at as an inspirational element for their own material. And then, of course, Batman's gone through many integrations of the suit. But what has stayed, even from that source material element, what has stayed is the actual element of Batman and how the suit should look and what it represents. So if we were to say, let's make a Batman movie now, which we've just done with The Batman, and they put him in a spandex, well, not even spandex, it'd be wool, a light grey wool top and pants with a knitted on black symbol, purple gloves, no lenses, fucking ears popping up. People would do this. They would do fuck off, well, you can't quite say it. They would be fuck off, fuck right off in any direction. In my opinion. In my humble opinion. So, because every franchise is unique, every franchise isn't the same, and we should judge every franchise off of that, to me, it's not necessarily the source material, it's what popularizes the characters. What made the characters the superstars that they are now? What media did that? And if that media is the black and white TV show, then this is what people want. And then if the media is the movies, which is an extension of that black and white TV show, this is how people view Morticia and Gomez, in my humble opinion. The vast majority, I believe. So sure, sometimes you have to look at the source material. And sure, I think sometimes you really just have to look at what popularized that. So if we look at, let's say, Rings of Power, of course, which doesn't have a huge amount of source material to really go off. It's going off these appendices. And they're creating their new show. And people are saying, well, you're not adhering to the lore of Tolkien. They are taking the mantle. They are taking the title Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. And they are taking a Tolkien world and they are twisting that Tolkien world, that source material, for their ideological politics, which is complete and utterly different. Because they are not wanting to create a faithful adaptation, which would be source material. They're not even wanting to create something slightly malleable from that, because this is in essence this, but all they've done is, you know, if you look at Gomez, look at John Astin's expression on his face. He's kind of doing this expression, but it just so happens that John Astin happens to be taller, much more handsome than that, and just fits in a little bit better, in my opinion, with Morticia here. So I don't think, I think that Garrett has got a very good point. I think Van Claridge has got a very good point. And I think it's something that we have to deal with on an individual basis. But I'd be very interested, legitimately very interested to see what you guys have to say in the comments section down below. But yeah, this first look to me of Wednesday, didn't do me any favors whatsoever. And just very quickly before I finish, because we are living in such an age of intersectional feminism and misandry and penis envy, simply feminists hating men and pretty women, feminists hating men, that I could well believe that the casting, and this is no disrespect to Louis Guzman, I could well believe that this casting isn't to actually go alongside the source material. It's actually to belittle the man compared to the woman, because that's where the political ideology is aligning right now in Hollywood. So I think there is more to this than just source material and the popularization of the actual franchises themselves. Again, very interested to hear and read what you have to say in the comment section down below. I'll be back in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.